Hidden within the myths of Japanese folklore and mythology lies a mysterious figure known as Ryomen Sukuna. This means that Jujutsu Kaisen's mangaka Akutami has taken from the passed down stories of Japan's history to add to their own amazing manga. Now, while in many stories that circle around Sukuna around the lands of Japan, he was considered a terrible entity, and even that of a demon. But more specifically in the lands that Ryomen Sukuna roamed, he was considered a hero that rebelled against Japan's tyrannical imperial government. Does this make it possible that Sukuna in Jujutsu Kaisen is actually a hero, or at least not evil? I believe it is something worth discussing in this channel. Hey, what's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for all the support on my last Jujutsu Kaisen video. You guys killed it. You destroyed the like goal. You doubled the like goal. And the video did quite well. You guys seem to like the theory. So very much appreciate that. So back to another Jujutsu Kaisen video. I'm thinking maybe doing one per week if it keeps panning out. If you guys keep enjoying it, because I do like Jujutsu Kaisen. And man, I just read the prequel manga, and then pair that with the newest chapter. This series is really going somewhere. So we're going to do another 1,000 like goal for this Jujutsu Kaisen theory video. So please, let's get that. If you guys want to join my Black Clover based Discord, but like I said, you can talk about other things. We've been talking about Jujutsu Kaisen, Seven Deadly Sins, Naruto, My Academia in that Discord, but it's called Cloverheim. Link to that in the description. You can follow me on Twitter in the description down below as well. And I'm going to give a little manga spoiler warning for you guys. This will feature some manga spoilers. But with that being said, let's get into it. So, now you might think that it makes no sense for Sukuna to not be evil within this series. He's considered by many a demon, and he is the king of the curses. But let's remember that humans can use curse energy, and plenty humans use it are inherently good. They use curse power and they use curse techniques. But that makes the title King of Curses not entirely a title of complete evil inherently. Curse energy can even be converted into positive energy, which heals humans. But one thing that really caught my eye when researching this theory is that Ryomen Sukuna is an actual concept that exists outside of the Jujutsu Kaisen series, as in the Japanese folklore and myths. There is an actual person that lived in Japan with that name, and then I'm sure a lot of what actually happened has been mythicized in the past thousands of years. He's even featured in other video games like Neo and other different fictional universes. Now, in terms of his general reputation across Japan, he was portrayed as a humanoid demon that was a terrible presence upon the populace. He had 2 faces, 4 arms in which he wielded 2 blades and 2 bow and arrows, and also had 4 legs. He was said to have the strength and speed of dozens of men. Interestingly enough, though, it is only his general image across the land of the rising sun in which he is considered a demon. But in the Hida and Mino provinces, the areas in which he presided in, he was actually considered as a divine hero, and they even worshipped him. They even have a temple and statue dedicated to his presence. He is also considered as a symbol of brotherhood or twins, which might tie to my last Jujutsu Kaisen video, in which I asked the question if Yuji was a reincarnation of Sukuna, or possibly related to him in some way. There is even tales of him protecting a village by slaying a venomous dragon. He was seen as the rebel spirit that went against the tyrannical imperial governments of Japan. This is probably why he's considered a demon generally in Japan, but in the specific provinces that he was in, he is hailed as a hero, and they worship him, because he protected those people from monsters and even the government. Now, of course, most governments at the time were terrible to their citizens, and it was generally much worse over 1,000 years ago. Now, Ryomen Sukuna exists in the Jujutsu Kaisen world as an incarnation in his vessel, Yuji Itadori. He is considered to be a bad guy by many, but there are some things that seem to be not completely going that way. Well, when he was revealed in Chapter 1, he did seem like a chaotic evil entity, but recent happenings in the manga has made me question or not if he was actually truly evil. This is because of what happened during the Shibuya incident arc when Yuji was given 11 fingers to increase his total to 15, and this causing him to lose control and Sukuna taking over his body for a limited period of time. It is important to note that because Sukuna was now in control of his body, because of the addition of too many fingers at once, it went against the binding vow. And what I mean by that is that it wasn't a part of the binding vow, which basically, the binding vow would allow Sukuna to overtake Yuji's body for a limited period of time when he said a certain word, and during that period of time, he couldn't hurt or kill anyone. But because Sukuna was incarnated into the real world through alternative means, because Yuji was just overpowered by having too many fingers at once. He didn't have to honor the binding vow he had with Yuji because he wasn't coming out by saying that word. He was coming out because of how much curse power Yuji had absorbed. We see this quickly because he kills two people, Nanako and Mimoko, and Sukuna doesn't suffer from them, which proves that this incarnation is not bounded by the binding vow. Sukuna also has a chance to kill a lot of different Jujutsu sorcerers while fighting Jogo, but instead he gives them a chance to live, as he essentially hurls a meteor towards them and says as long as they don't move until he says, he won't kill them. They all listen to Sukuna and they end up surviving in the end. Then Sukuna rushes to save Megumi and fights off against the massive beast of a curse. He has to use his domain expansion and expand it throughout the area to be able to kill the curse of Mahoraga. And this, I noticed something quite weird, as Sukuna used two different techniques, dismantle and cleave. It is shown in the two different effects. It shows cutting upon the Mahoraga, and then what looks to be a sort of erosion type thing upon the people that are in the buildings, and the buildings are eroded themselves. He stated that he placed cleave on beings with cursed energy, and we know Mahoraga has cursed energy, and he placed dismantle on inanimate objects. This is why the buildings eroded, and the people did as well. But what is weird is that the effects look very differently from each other, as they just straight up cut Mahoraga, but when it came to the humans, it seemingly meant that they were dismantled. This means that humans, the ones that were in those buildings, were not just actually humans, but were the inanimate objects, and makes Sukuna killing them not actually a murderer. Now, he would next kill the person who was attempting to kill Megumi, which if you just look at that individual that the person killed, they were all bad. That was a bad person, and Sukuna killed him. As the last one killed was trying to kill Megumi, the first two were both essentially worshippers of Geto, who was a bad guy, even before that brain transplant issue. So you can look at it possibly as Sukuna only killed 3 evil people straight up, and then he gave the Jujutsu sorcerers a choice to live, and then killed human-looking inanimate objects in the area, when he could have possibly caused way more damage. Now, it could also be that, well, we know that most humans have cursed energy because they spawn negative emotions, so in theory, this should still actually affect them based on Sukuna's first command of his domain. So these probably still are actually people if you just look at it in that way. But either way, Sukuna still limited his domain to save Megumi, and if you look at it, he killed all these people just to stop Mahoraga, and if he didn't do that, Mahoraga would do much more damage and end up killing 4 more people in the long run. So if you just look at it, while Sukuna was free to do whatever he wanted, he killed 3 bad individuals, killed a cursed spirit in Jogo, and then killed some people in the block so that he could defeat another evil entity. There's also a huge shift that is happening, and that has been revealed in the latest chapter of the manga. The Jujutsu headquarters has gone against that of Satoru Gojo and the principal of Jujutsu High, Masamichi Yaga, as they had lied about Gojo being the cause of the Shibuya incident, and Yaga being the one to incite him doing that. These are straight up lies from the leaders of the Jujutsu Society, which is supposed to be a morally good organization, but this makes them much less so. They have also tasked Yuta with tracking down Yuji and killing him, as the suspended sentence has been negated and they want him dead now. Why do they want him dead now? Well, this is because killing Yuji will now give him access to the fingers. This means that Sukuna can never come back from the dead. This could fit with the real mythology of Sukuna from our world, as he rebelled against the Imperial Army, where Sukuna in Jujutsu Kaisen, who we know was once a human sorcerer, actually rebelled against the Jujutsu Society because they were the true villains. While he would ultimately lose and maybe even succumb to darkness, over the next 1,000 years, the Jujutsu headquarters would morph the facts of history and turn Sukuna into a demonic figure. If this is true, it would be quite the interesting parallel to Yuji, as he is now being hunted down by the Jujutsu sorcerers, just like Sukuna was a millennia ago. What if this is the real reason why Sukuna hates the Jujutsu sorcerers? Another important part of this theory is that Yuta Okotsu, the main character of the prequel to Jujutsu Kaisen, is the one tasked with killing Yuji. Yuta has an incredibly powerful curse tied to him, which is Rika, the Queen of Curses. Rika, however you want to say it. And this sets up a battle between the main characters, Yuta and the Queen of Curses, Rika, versus Yuji and the King of Curses, Sukuna. Rika isn't a necessarily evil entity. It's only just overly protective of Yuta himself. So if the Queen of Curses isn't evil per se, then the King of Curses doesn't have to be evil either. I wouldn't be surprised if it does slowly get revealed. The Jujutsu Society is secretly the real big bad. Again, it just makes a lot of sense because they are framing Gojo and Yaga despite them doing nothing wrong. This possibly leading to a massive civil war among the different Jujutsu sorcerers. Now, I'm so incredibly excited for the upcoming arc. It's going to be great. It's going to be insane. Yuta versus Yuji should be a battle for the shonen history books. Now in the prequel, Rika is so strong paired with Yuta. They went against Getza, who used a special grade curse and then put in over 4,400 other curses inside of it, and yet Yuta, with the power of Rika, was able to negate that curse and essentially overpower it. So, and I do want to make sure you guys do keep in mind that while I do think that it is possible that Sukuna is not evil, this is just a theory. And even in this theory, I wouldn't necessarily call him good. I think it's possible he could end up being an anti-hero or an anti-villain. I wouldn't necessarily go out and just say he's a hero, though. Probably more so of an anti-hero or an anti-villain. So guys, little announcement. You might have seen that I now have a merch store linked to my channel now. So I've basically just done a couple basic designs so far. I will be doing a lot more merch designs in the future, though. But basically, hey, I have a bunch of friends I know about my channel. They thought my logo was cool, and so they said I should make merch. So I'm making some merch, guys. Yeah, if you guys don't know, I'm really into Viking stuff, so I made a stav rune. A stav rune is when you combine multiple runes together and you make your own symbol with its own meaning. My symbol, which is the logo for my channel, is strength and love. So that's what the symbol means. So if you like to get sweatshirt or t-shirt of my YouTube logo, you can get it in the white or black, as you can see me wearing, or you can get it in the black with white. Honestly, I think the black and white looks a bit cooler. I only got the sample in the white and black. But, guys, that would really help support the channel. It really, really would. I would love to get into YouTube full-time, where this is just my full-time job. But I also have a day job. I'm a personal trainer. Even in the video, I'm actually doing it in my office in between clients, just recording this video. So it would really help out to maybe one day become a full-time personal trainer, maybe one day hire an editor, hire a thumbnail artist, or something like that. So this would really mean a lot and help out a lot. But guys, I do want to say, we're in the middle of a pandemic. If you don't have extra money, keep the money for yourself. You just liking, subscribing, commenting, watching, that's more than enough. Do not buy these if you don't have the money to spend it. And don't feel bad about it either. If you have the extra money though, go for it. That would be very much appreciated. With that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think the Sukuna might actually not be evil? Let me know your thoughts. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let's shoot for that 1,000 like goal. Hope you guys all have an amazing day. Plus...